On July 14th, 1983, the Famicom launched in Japan. Along with the launch of the Famicom, a little game called Mario Bros. Came out. When that game came out, it was Nintendo's first home console hit. So, right out of the gate, Nintendo hit it out of the park with a really good system and a really good game to launch with. The Famicom ended up selling 2.5 million units, with Mario Bros. Selling 1.6 million copies. Because of how well the Famicom ended up doing in Japan, Nintendo decided to branch out and make an American version of their Japanese console. They redesigned the Famicom to look less like a game system, because Nintendo thought if it looked like a game system, it wouldn't sell well in America. Instead, they decided to redesign the Famicom to look more like a VCR, and instead of keeping with the name the Famicom, they settled on the Nintendo Entertainment System. The NES ended up selling very well in America due to its robust library and just the potential of having a system that could play any type of game that you wanted. The NES coasted along for a few years, selling decent games, with a lot of them being arcade ports or very simple to understand games. Even though the NES did very well in its first year, it took Nintendo 2 more years to port over Mario Bros. Once Mario Bros. Came over to America, it immediately became a sensation. Super Mario Bros. Was the new name that it went by, and from here on out, Super Mario Bros. Would be packaged in with lots of NES systems and will become the big game to get for your NES. Super Mario Bros. Became quickly bundled in with many NES consoles. In 1985, the NES became the big thing to talk about because of Mario Bros. Mario Bros. Become a sensation, but does it hold up today? What most people liked about Super Mario Bros. Is that it was super easy to understand. Anyone could pick up and play it, and that's what people were drawn to. The NES was many people's first video game console, so to have something launch alongside it that could show you everything that the system has to offer in one game was super special. The controls were simple and intuitive, the gameplay was straightforward and easy to understand, and the story was just straight to the point and not convoluted. So all these things were great for 1980, but how does the game hold up now? People say that this game is timeless, but I'm going to put that to the test. I'm going to use everything that people enjoy about modern video games and see if Super Mario Bros. Has all those things. So first up, characters. First off, we'll start with Mario. Mario has no character in this game. If you don't have a lot to work with, the best way you can tell a lot about a character is their facial expression. Mario has no facial expression. Okay, then what about his overall design? He doesn't really have that either. Even in this game, all he looks like is a collection of pixels. He has a mustache, a hat, and overalls, so he has a little bit of character, but he just still looks so lifeless. With the enemy designs, you get a lot more detail. With the enemies, you get to see what they are, what they look like, what their faces look like. All of the enemies have a unique look and unique character traits, how the enemies interact with you. So with the enemy types, Nintendo knocked it out of the park. With their main protagonist, it's a lot to be desired. The next main element is story. Super Mario Bros. Has a very basic story that is very simple yet very easy to understand. For the type of game that Mario is, with it being a platformer where you just go from stage to stage and get to the end, it doesn't really need a big story. When I play Super Mario Bros., all I want to do is beat stage after stage after stage. I feel like if they added a bigger story than what was already in the game, it would have just bogged down the experience. Speaking of levels, let's get to the gameplay. The gameplay in Super Mario Bros. Is very simple. All you do is run and jump. Where the gameplay gets interesting is with the power-ups. In the first Super Mario Bros. Game, we have the Super Mushroom and the Fire Flower. These are great and iconic power-ups, but I would want a little bit more. Just a few more power-ups, and I feel like it would be okay. But where it stands, it's a little lacking, but I'm fine with it. Now, the level design. The level design is probably the most strong part of the original Super Mario Bros. Each level in Super Mario Bros. Smoothly transitions into the next. Even with that giant flagpole and you going through the castle, even when you pop out the other side into the next level, it doesn't really feel that jarring. The flagpole is just there to add some finality to the level. Each level progresses nicely in difficulty, so when you go into the next level, it doesn't really feel like there's a giant difficulty spike. The levels themselves are quite simple, but where the variety lies is with the characters that you fight. So even though the level's themes are a little samey, and they couldn't really do much in terms of graphics, the enemies are really what keeps the variety going, and with this variety in enemies, it really elevates all these levels. Even with there being very few underground levels, underwater levels, and night levels to spice up the variety in level type, this gameplay is still super solid. So, with a few minor critiques about the game itself, this game still holds the test of time because of how simple it is and how easy it is to understand. You don't need any prior knowledge, you don't even need a tutorial, you can just jump right in. And that's what makes Super Mario Bros. So accessible even today. It's also timeless because of the way it looks. Games are still made like this. Games are still made in the 8-bit style. So even graphically this game holds up. So all in all, Super Mario Bros. Is timeless, and it will always be timeless.